Let me start by saying the Defense Department and the services are giving greater attention to the problem of sexual assault in the military and hopefully taking greater action to address the problem, and I thank you for that. But after decades of many assurances and after a couple of years where we've seen a 37% increase in the number of sexual assaults, now 26,000 cases over the past 2 years, it is time to change the status quo and empower the prosecutors to do some things, some innovative things that are different than the current change of command. I'll leave it at that because this is a hearing on the impact of having no budget and the sequester on our national defense. And there has been a national dialogue, I think, on the harm the sequester is causing to jobs in the economy, medical research and innovation, Head Start, our ability to invest in infrastructure in this country, but I don't think we've had that same dialogue on the impact of the sequester on our national security. I certainly hear it at home from the folks at U.S. Central Command and Special Operations Command and MacDill Air Force Base, and we don't like the fact that civilians are going to be furloughed because of some arbitrary budget policy. But there are some challenges here. Now, without a budget, our Republican friends who complained for many years that the Senate wouldn't pass a budget now will not go to negotiate a budget. It's been 81 days since the budget was passed, and they will not proceed to conference, and that is going to cause great problem and angst over the coming days and months and years. The other problem is many of my Republican friends want the sequester. They want the cuts across the board. And they've rejected the Democratic replacements for the sequester. So this is going to have serious consequences. I want you to now drill down and be specific and focus on special operations in particular, because the threats to our national security have evolved over the past decades. We're not as involved in conventional warfare. The threats are unconventional. In the past, the former commander, Admiral Olson, said we are focused on quality and special ops. And now Commander Admiral McRaven says we want to grow the force. And you've said, General, we need to grow special operations and personnel and our capabilities. But what is the sequester going to do to our ability to invest in special operations forces and confront the unconventional threats facing our country?
Yeah, if I could, first of all, Congresswoman, thanks for the support you give to MacDill. I spent 2 great years there myself commanding CENTCOM, and we always felt very much at home in that community, so thanks for that. The effort we've got to look at the impact of sequestration will present some very stark and uncomfortable choices, some of which can be mitigated by flexibility, meaning if we can get about 1/3 of what we need, however that much turns out to be, whether it's full sequestration or something less, if we can get about 1/3 of it or 30% of it out of institutional reform and compensation health care changes, then we can have an impact on the force, the combat power of the force that is probably manageable. If we can't, then it won't be manageable. You will find that we will have to make some choices that will put us at a disadvantage. And we haven't been at a disadvantage in a very long time as the United States Armed Forces. Special Forces is one of the 3 areas that in last year's budget and in this year's budget we have advantaged. Advantage meaning we haven't taken the reductions that we have in other parts of the force, the conventional force. But if we go to full sequestration, if this becomes an annual event, at some point we will have to slow the growth of Special Forces.